Well, happy Monday, everybody. I know this is getting out a little bit later than many of you. Well, I don't know how many of you watch at 7 in the morning anyway. But happy Monday. I hope your Monday is going well. I hope you had a really great weekend. I know for myself, me and Abby had a really wonderful weekend of we went to Carrie Job and Cody Carnes concert Saturday night and had a really wonderful service yesterday here at South Tacoma Assembly of God. And so I hope your weekend was as beneficial as ours was. But once again, it's Monday. It's the start of a new week. And hopefully today we can give you a little bit of something that will carry you through the week. Leading up to next week, don't forget, it is our live Q&A next Monday. So don't be looking for the video at 7 in the morning or 11 or 1. We will be live with you Monday evening next week. So make sure to get all your questions in, your comments, anything you want us to discuss. Even if it doesn't have to be mental health related. It could be something to do with stuff you see going on in the media, stuff you see going on around you, issues you're having with family members or friends. I mean, we don't have an hour, but we're going to try and get to everybody's questions and concerns and try and help you walk through how do you operate as a Christian healthy in this world. So make sure to tune in next week and interact with us. But we're still looking at getting you through this week. So last week we looked at the power of perspective. We talked about, as it says on the wall here, that God's Word influences our perspective. That our perspective influences how we respond. And our responses influence the outcomes 100% of the time. Perspective is a really key thing for our mental health, for our spiritual health, for our relational health. If we have the right perspective, we can overcome so much that comes against us in our lives. And one of those things that I want to kind of explore a little bit more in perspective has to actually deal with feet. Yes, feet. Our feet are the foundation of our body. They really consistently are the only part of our body that is in contact with the ground. Everything else within our body relies on our feet. Our hands, our head, our chest. We can't go anywhere if our feet don't take us there. Now, I know you might be saying, well, I could get in a wheelchair, I could have somebody carry me. Yes, that is possible. But the way we were designed was to be able to walk on our 2 feet. God designed us that everything is based on the foundation of our feet. Where we get to, where we don't get to, how fast we get there, how well we get there, depends and is determined by our feet. We rely on the stability of our feet and the traction of our feet to get us where we need to get. And so because of that, we've designed amazing things called shoes. I mean, we have all these different shoes that help us get and accomplish what we want to accomplish. Different reasons for the shoes, different purposes for the shoes. We are designed, the shoes are designed to help us accomplish and be the most efficient in our life as we walk, right? So I want to talk a little bit over the next few minutes about shoes. Have you ever gone on a job site wearing flip-flops? Have you ever tried to go walk through a muddy job site wearing flip-flops? Your feet get all dirty, you slip all over the place. You might actually end up breaking your flip-flop. I mean, really, just last year, I took the dog for a walk and I was wearing a pair of flip-flops and I slipped on the grass and the dog took off and it ripped this whole piece right out. I wasn't wearing the right shoes for walking the dog. They were just convenient. They were right there. They're what I had. And I just went with them. Well, and when I went with them, what ended up happening was it was a mistake because I ruined my shoes. Like I'm walking in barefoot, having to walk on the gravel and on the whatever else was on the ground outside. It wasn't very pleasant because I made the wrong choice when it came to shoes. I didn't understand what I needed. Well, I should have understood what I needed to take the dog out to go potty. But this brings up, I was thinking about this and brought up the thought of, if the feet are the foundation of our life and they direct where we're going to go, and shoes are put on our feet to help us get to where we need to get, we need to understand the proper shoes that we need for what we're doing. If we process this to our own life, if we look at our feet being the foundation of what we're doing, we need to understand what we're doing to make sure that we have the right shoes. Because when we don't have the right shoes, we end up finding ourselves in a position where we're not as effective as we could be, or we end up falling on our face when we don't have to. It's like wearing a flip-flop to a job site. I have some shoes here you can't really see them, they're on my desk here. I'll show you here in a second to illustrate what I'm talking about here and why am I talking about shoes. Well, in life, this is where perspective comes in. We need to have the perspective of understanding where we are in life, what season we are in, and not even seasons, just what's going on in our life, and what shoes we need for where we're at. Because many times dissonance in our life, when things just don't make sense, when there's issues going on in our life, when there's confusion, it's based around the fact that we're not putting on the right shoes spiritually, emotionally, psychologically for the season that we're in. See, flip-flops are great when you're going to the beach and you're relaxing, but they're not great when you have to go to work. I mean, flip-flops are a vacation season shoe. So you wear this, I wore these on the beach in Hawaii. It was great, I wore them all the time. But when I have to go home, and we have a project at home right now where we're doing some home renovations, I don't wear my flip-flops, I wear my work boots. When I have to go outside and work, when it's a time to work, I put on my work boots. I put these on, I go and I do what I need to do, because these are meant to protect my feet, give me traction. If something falls on it, it's not going to pierce through this and hurt my foot. I can step on things, I can walk through things, and I'm not going to be harmed. Because these are meant for work, they're meant for tilling the ground, they're meant for working through things. But if I don't understand that and I try to wear these, I'm going to hurt my feet, I'm going to cut them up. So we need to understand that sometimes there are seasons in our life where we have to work. We have to put on our work boots, not our flip-flops. And when we try to wear our flip-flops through a work season, we end up stubbing our toes and cutting our feet, and then we end up wondering, why are my feet hurting? Why does this keep happening? Well, because you don't have the proper perspective of understanding where you're at. You know, here at South Tacoma, we've talked about, there's a process, and in each area of the process, there is a lesson that needs to be learned. There are things that need to be done in each stage as God prepares us, but we need to understand we need to be wearing the right shoes. I also have up here, these dress shoes. They're meant for nice occasions, celebration. When you've gone through and you've done your work, you've made it to where you need to get, and it's time to celebrate. It's time to dance. You put on your dancing shoes. You put on your celebration shoes. You don't work in these. You work in these. You're going to end up cutting these all up, and they get all gross. These are meant for celebration. And there is a time for celebration. We're told that there's a time to mourn, there's a time to work, there's a time to celebrate. We need to understand that. Having that proper understanding is what helps lead to our better mental health. It's that improper understanding of the season we're in and the shoes that we put on our feet, the foundation of our life that we stand on. Literally, our life stands on our shoes. It stands on what we put on our feet. And if we have a foundational misunderstanding about where we are in life, what's going on in life, and what each of those stages is, we're going to have struggles. We're going to wonder what's going on. So this is why I brought in shoes today, because you need to understand what season you're in and wear the right shoes accordingly. Because when we don't wear the right shoes, we don't understand the season we're in, we make mistakes. And then we cry out to God, or we cry out to others, why does life suck? Why have you abandoned me? Well, none of that is true. It's because you've put on the wrong shoes. Now, this isn't even just your own shoes. One of the most common things that we see and we love, especially in our society, is getting on our social media, getting on our TVs and looking at other people and saying, oh, I really wish I had what they had. Oh, if I just had what they had. If I just had a little bit more. Oh, if I had their ability to speak. If I was as great as a speaker as this person. Or I had this money. Or I had that. Or I had this calling. And we get in this comparison game. And we try to mimic their life, and try to be like them. The problem is, we put on somebody else's shoe. You ever try to put on somebody else's shoe? I mean, this very clearly is not my shoe. This is Abby's shoe. You probably knew that already. But if I tried to put this on, you're going to look at me sideways. In fact, I'd look at myself sideways. I mean, I've never worn this shoe. I imagine it's pretty uncomfortable. It's not very practical for me. It's not going to really help me out. But if I try and put this on, I'm going to look ridiculous. And if I try and put this on as I'm supposed to be working, if I try working in the yard or on the car or on the house or on the roof in these, I'm going to break my neck. I have weak ankles anyway, so this is going to destroy me. But this is the truth, that so many of us try to put on other people's shoes and then wonder why it doesn't work. We try to put on other people's shoes and then wonder, why is it that things aren't working out? Well, because it's not even, forget it being the right season, it's not even your shoe. It's not meant for you. Putting on somebody else's shoe is only going to lead to disaster. It's only going to lead to hurt. And if you're lucky, it's only going to lead to a little bit of discomfort. Most likely it's going to lead to major pain for you. It's going to lead to more problems for you because you're trying to live in somebody else's purpose. You're trying to walk in somebody else's shoes. Proverbs 4:26 tells us this, says, consider your path carefully, for your feet and all your ways will be established through them. So if we understand the path that our feet are supposed to be on, we can understand where we're going to get. But if we don't, we're going to end up stepping off course. We're going to end up stepping on stuff, and we're going to end up causing more trauma than we need to. We end up having to deal with more trauma than we even have to think about having. Trauma that doesn't even have to be there, all because we don't understand the right shoes. As I'm talking here, I realize I sound like a grandmother. Make sure you wear your right shoes. Make sure there's truth in value. There's wisdom in age. Okay, as I get older, I'm realizing there's wisdom in things that my parents and my grandparents told me. I didn't think so as a child, but I recognize now that because I was that kid that was like, I want to go outside and play. I want to go take my cleats and I want to go run down the street. Well, you know what happens if you wear cleats? These are my golf shoes. If you wear these on the street, it wears down the cleats, and the purpose it was made for, it doesn't have that purpose anymore. But then you end up, busting your knees as you trip and fall on the gravel because your shoes weren't designed. Those shoes weren't designed to be ran on the ground with or on the pavement with. So to bring this all together, understand the season you're in, and understand the footwear that needs to go on the foundation of your life. If you're in a work season, put on your work boots. You don't have to have pretty shoes because it's in a time of work. But if you go through and you do the work, you can wear your dancing shoes. You can wear your pretty high heels. You can go out dancing, celebrating because you've done the work. Or if you've gone through the work, you've done your celebrating, go out, take a break, put on your flip-flops, go to the beach. But don't try going to the beach if you have work to do. If you try to put on the wrong shoes for the wrong season you're in, you're going to end up causing issues. And that's the last thing that we want. So as you go about your week this week, make sure you're putting on the right shoes. Make sure you're doing what you need to do. Make sure you recognize and have the right perspective of what God is doing in your life. Because if it's a season of struggle, take heart. Those work boots, that work gets you to a time to celebrate. Just because you're not wearing the shoes you want to wear right now doesn't mean you won't be in the future. Walk the path with the proper shoes. I think that's the best place for me to stop. That's a great tagline. Walk the right path with the right shoes. Keep walking. Keep moving forward. And tune in next week for our Mental Health Monday Q&A. Walk the path this week. Wear your right shoes. And God bless.